Welcome back to Don't Forget the Art. Guys, I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you are fired up and ready to go and do another fun project. So we are in March now, and I know we are not officially into spring yet, but I know there's a lot of people who are already talking about it, especially some of the places that have had such a rough winter. And so, that idea of looking forward to those spring flowers, some of the first signs of spring coming around is getting really exciting. And I thought we would have some fun with that. On top of that, this is kind of a, relaxed, fun um, subject for me anyway. I love flowers. My mom always had flowers. We have flowers growing in our yard, and I love flowers. If you look through my sketchbooks, if you look through my art, there's flowers everywhere. Love it. And again, it's for me, it's one of those where like for example, this one I did the other day, I just needed, an R&R day. There's been lots going on here at this house, and I just needed something to kind of relax and de-stress. So for me, that's what flowers, when I paint flowers, that's what they do for me. It's, totally soothing and relaxing. This is also, bringing in still life into um, the into art. Now, you do not have to use a still life if you don't want to, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about why still life is so important. So if you go to an art museum, you're going to see, a few basic themes. Obviously, you're going to see portraits because those were really important for the longest time with art. You'll see story scenes or things like that from, Greek and Roman mythology, from, Judeo-Christian kind of themes or things like that, pictures that tell stories. Then you're going to see a lot of landscapes. You will see um, a lot of things like that to kind of that where an artist just goes out and paints, this beautiful landscape theme, and you will see a lot of still lifes. All right, and why still lifes? Well, still lifes are one of those cool things that artists can, control a lot more of the environment, especially nowadays where we have these really cool lights. I mean, you can go into a totally dark room and set everything up, and you can work for days on the same still life and not have to worry about anybody touching it. The lighting will always be perfect and the same no matter what, time of day or year that it is. It's really pretty cool. It's also a great way for artists because, you can't control the weather outside. So if the weather outside isn't pleasant, you can still paint something beautiful inside. And if you look at a lot of still lifes, one of the common theme that runs through them, are flowers. Flowers are, symbols of life and beauty, and obviously for, most of us, warmer temperatures and, spring and summer, those kinds of things. And so it's a common theme that runs through them. On top of that, for some people, where flowers aren't growing year round, it's really cool to have pictures of flowers up on your wall. So even in the wintertime, you can still enjoy that beauty and it doesn't have to die. So again, just one of those common themes that runs through art. So again, you don't have to use still life, but I just figured it'd be something to tie in. And, for those who are looking at, aspiring artists or really wanting to stretch yourself, set yourself up a still life. Whether it's from things around the house, go pick some flowers outside if you have some, go to the grocery store or whatever and grab some, and set yourself up a still life. That might be really fun. You can also, get online, Pixabay, or, even Google or whatever, and search some still life photos. Some of mine that I have done, that's what I have done, and that's where I've gotten some of my inspiration. So, but you don't have to. Again, if you've got littles or you just have this really cool imagination, you can probably just set yourself up a still life or create something out of your imagination. That's okay too. Um, the whole thing is just to have fun and relax. Again, this is where flowers are one of my go-tos for R&R for relax. So this is one again I did a couple days ago. Um, and you know, just kind of loosey-goosey. This was just for fun. I think I did these last year. Just something relaxed and, you know, have some fun. Tulips and daffodils. We don't have a whole lot of those down here in Florida. Not as much as I wish anyway. The growing seasons down here are really weird. If you don't live here, it would be kind of a shocker because, you know, spring flowers actually kind of bloom in winter around here, and that's just the way it goes. This I did about a year ago, some tulips, and this would obviously go more into like a realistic, you know, kind of feel. Just an FYI, if you do something more realistic, understand it's going to take more time. So, you know, if you've got your olders and if they're watching this, I'm just going to let you know, like this wasn't done in a couple hours. You know, sometimes one of these petals took a couple hours and, you know, that's okay. Just understand that if you're doing art, you're going to have to allow yourself the time that you need in order to do them. All right, depending upon the results that you want. So these are some of the ideas that I came up with. Again, something for the youngers and something for the olders. This was a still life picture that I found online at Pixabay, Pixabay.com. They have royalty-free pictures that you can use for your pictures, so you don't have to worry about anything being trademarked or copyrighted. You can use it. Photographers, artists put their pictures up there for others to share. And this was one that I just found. I found the idea a couple of different places online, so I don't even know who I can give the credit for. But I had actually thought of it myself before I saw it when I was looking for just some different still life ideas. This was made entirely of plastic utensils. So this was obviously created, or, you know, the idea is definitely more for youngers. However, olders, I would highly recommend, especially if you are in a rut, you're really struggling with your art, you need a boost of creativity. Heck, even non-artists, if you need a boost of creativity, one of the greatest ways for you to get out of a rut and, you know, get your imagination and creativity juices flowing is to draw or make something using really weird materials. Okay, you're gonna see my video. This was a lot of fun. So while this is for, you know, targeted more towards the youngers, olders, I would encourage you to give this a shot. It was a lot of fun, and I am going to link or, you know, put the videos here after that, and hopefully you will enjoy it. I'll see you at the other side, guys. So for the first video, or the first picture that I did, I used it creating this plastic forks. It was so much fun. I didn't use, I don't think, any paint brushes for this one. You will need paper towels, and I'm using a styrofoam plate here again for easy cleanup. And this would be a really fun, like, primary color painting if you were up for it. Um, but this is, I mean, you could use craft paints. This is some of the Master's Touch paint that I've used in the past, acrylic paints. I pre-drew out my idea, and, you know, from what I can remember for a kid, like, I never needed a still life set up for me to paint a still life picture. You know, you could just picture the vase, you could picture the tulips or the daisies or whatever it is. You could just picture it. Little kids are so cool with that ability to just kind of visualize that. And but again, this isn't just for little kids. I am so happy that I started this, you know, adventure in the still lifes with this idea, with this piece, because it really helped get those creative juices flowing. It was fun. Now, I will let you know, I did this, the whole thing. As you can see, I'm using the plastic knife right now. This may be, especially with little kids, where you would want to pull out, you know, the paint brushes, you know, a thin paintbrush or something. because this was a little difficult. You can see I had to kind of keep dabbing it. Once I got the hang of it, I was okay. You're not really painting or dragging, you're tapping. Or at least that's what I wound up doing, because the paint's only going to stretch so far. Even if it looks like there's a lot of paint on that knife, it's only going to take you so far. So you really have to kind of do a tap, 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 then dip again, tap, tap, tap. So if you and your kiddos understand that, then I would really encourage you to, go to town and have some fun with this, because it was a lot of fun. Craft paints will do. You don't need anything special for this other than patience and a lot of fun. You could do a field. I mean, obviously this makes amazing tulips because it just has that typical kid tulip shape to it. But you could go crazy with spoons and try to figure out how to maybe make different types of flowers. And you don't have to use necessarily a vase, but for doing still lifes, that totally works too. Um, but you can, you could do a field of daffodils or whatever. It was really cool and a lot of fun. Like I said, I was trying to think of something that would be fun for little kids, and I had actually thought of the idea of using forks. Forks before, and then when I was looking for something for the olders or some different ideas when I was searching for still life paintings, others have obviously thought of this idea too. So it is a lot of fun, and again, using different utensils. One thing that would be a great idea for for the olders, the middles, and the olders, middle school kids and older high school kids to really think about is that with art, it's constantly thinking outside of the box. What kinds of things can I do, new things that I can try, and whatnot. And, the sky is the limit. You really are the only thing that's holding yourself back. And so to try something different and unique, like painting with plasticware, it's a really great way to just kind of stretch yourself and have some fun. I think I told you guys on some of the pages that I'm on and different places where I've encountered artists, you'd be shocked at some of the mediums that they use and the utensils that they use to make their art. You would look at them and say, "Are you kidding me?" I know an artist who's just fabulous, and all of her paintings are done with her fingers, finger painting. So don't think you need expensive materials or, really, you have to go and do what the professionals do, because you'd be shocked. So many professionals are using simple, simple tools. Give it a shot. Try painting with plasticware. It was a lot of fun. Now, I obviously took this a little bit farther, just trying to add some of those details in. And again, for some of the olders, why not? Try making it look a little bit more, realistic. And so adding some of that highlights and reflections on the vase, it was a lot of fun. And again, painting with a plastic knife. It's really cool. Okay, guys, so this one I used watercolors. Both of these pictures I actually used watercolor paper. So you do not have to do canvas if you are using the acrylics. You can use watercolor paper. You can use mixed media paper. I would definitely let both of them. I would definitely tape down and let completely dry while you are doing it. Now, I love watercolors in spring and summer. It's just such a light, airy kind of medium. I know a lot of people are intimidated by watercolors, but I don't want you to be. I would encourage you to try them, and try them in layers. One of the things that I like about watercolors is that they can be layered. Um, they're just also, one of those ways of just kind of relaxing and being free, and kind of letting the medium go where it's going to go. It's got a mind of its own, and I know that can be kind of scary, but it can be fun too if you give it a chance. The other nice thing to know is that, watercolors can be layered. So I usually, if you can see here, I am starting with some light layers. And watercolors dry lighter than they go down. So if you really want to try them, I mean, I would really encourage you to. But again, this is one of those challenges and one of these, fun ways of playing around. You can use any medium that you want. Pencils, colored pencils, watercolors, acrylics, markers, oil pastels, soft pastels, you name it, it would work here. Chalk would work great. Just make sure with the soft pastels and the chalk that you use a fixative afterwards, otherwise those are going to smear. Same thing with especially the graphite pencils. Colored pencils usually a little bit, better with holding, but you probably want to spray them once they're done too. Um, Watercolors can be pretty forgiving. Again, put them down in layers because then it's not going, when it dries, it's going to dry lighter, and you can always go over it and add more details. And that is one thing that I do like to do with that. This was um, a little bit different. I used white in here for these tulips, and I usually don't use white with the colors, but these tube watercolors that I'm using here, the liquid watercolors as opposed to the cake ones that you get, are a little bit different to me. I have not used them a whole lot, and the colors tended to be a lot bolder than I was expecting them to be. So I did use, excuse me, did use the white to kind of pull them back a little bit and get more of that light pink color that I was looking for that's in the picture. So some of them came out a little bit darker than I wanted, but that's okay. Again, this is one of those things that you can kind of play around as you go. One of the other big keys to doing watercolors is to, again, with the layers, do the layers, add more details as you go along, and work in sections. So as one part is drying, move to another section. Water loves to blend and bleed together, which can be a lot of fun. But, if you don't want that to happen, you really need to keep those wet areas separated, and kind of sort of know where the water is going to go. Once one area is dry, you're good. It's going to be okay. Now, my apologies with this video. I thought I had kind of recorded it, the whole thing, but unfortunately, I accidentally forgot to push the record button a couple times. So you may see some jumps and all of a sudden where things were done that you guys didn't actually see. My apologies. Um, it's just part of the fun of recording as I am learning. Um, Now I can certainly do a more step-by-step tutorials with some uh, um, roses or tulips using acrylics or watercolors if you would like. Again, especially some easier ones, I'd be more than happy to do that. Let me know if you would like, and I can certainly do that. But I would encourage you to try whatever medium, whatever you'd want to do. Flowers are a lot of fun, still lifes are a lot of fun, and I think you'll really enjoy this project. So here are my two finished products, guys. And again, it's about having fun. It's about making memories. It's about getting those creative juices flowing. It's just about having fun, relaxing, and making some art in the process. And whatever it is that you guys choose to do, whatever type of flower, whatever. I realized when I was doing this that for some reason I picked both tulips. One of my mom's favorite flowers. So maybe this was like a kind of a I'm thinking of my mom sort of moment. But yeah, have some fun with it. That's the biggest thing. And beauty is where you find it. So go out and find something beautiful, create something beautiful, and when you do, please be sure to share it with us. I would love to see it. You can share it with our group. You can use hashtag don't forget the art. I would love to see it. And again, don't forget that when you share, you're inspiring and encouraging others. So don't be afraid to put your work out there and let us see it. I will talk to you guys later. Happy arting, everyone.